Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT.
I don't care. It's close enough. I'm not here to be accurate, god damn it. I'm here to just say it.
AJ.
They literally sneak out by hiding a girl under a giant trench coat like a Three Stooges gag. What the f***, Disney Plus? Come on now.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we're giving our review of the new Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day. Is this just another in a long list of Marvel box office failures, or could this be the best Spidey movie yet? This is the Nerf Herder Council. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also the Facebook page and YouTube channel of the Virtual Cantina Network. We are also live on our Twitch page, that of the Nerf Herder Council. We are live at those locations every other Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are watching on either YouTube channel and have not done so already, please remember to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. As always, guys, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you would like to get some awesome Virtual Cantina Network swag, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. And for some kick-ass customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. Quick reminders, guys, there could be some bad language on our show, so if you're not into that sort of thing, you might want to jump out now. Also, the views of the Nerf Herder Council do not necessarily reflect those of the Virtual Cantina Network. And big one for this particular show, that's what she said, there are going to be spoilers. So the first spoiler is that AJ was too lazy to pick a background, so he stole mine. So without further ado, let's bring on the thief.
Wow. Well, thanks for that insightful intro. Actually, if you recall the last movie in the Spider-Man franchise, there were 3 Spider-Men. So who's to say? It might be a different suit or from a different movie. You just don't know. Mine's a little bit more yellowish, if you see. So I think the patina indicates that this is not actually the same suit. It's part of the multiverse.
Well, if we're talking multiverse, I'm out.
Okay, spoiler number 1 for the movie. Spoiler number 1 for the movie. We're not talking multiverse.
There we go. Look at Kale already. He says, "Does anyone else hate that we count down to a countdown?" Kale, I hate it, but I have to do it because my computer runs slowly bringing up Facebook for some reason, and I have to sling the show to the Virtual Cantina Network stuff. So I need that extra 30 seconds. So cut me some slack, man. Cut me some slack. You didn't pay for the show. So
you could, though. Patreon.com/NHC podcast.
Kale also says, "You look like brothers or something right now." It's weird. Chastity Crawley, great to see you as always. She says he's doing the disclaimers before cursing this time. Very proactive. Yeah, see? I'm getting better.
Yeah, if you're playing the Nerf Herder Council drinking game, we all just lost.
Yeah, right. All right, so I have something super quick that I want to talk about before we get into the movie. This is just a quick plug, but since we do, we are sponsored by Audible, vaguely. I do have a book recommendation that fits in perfectly with our nerdy little show. I just finished listening to it, and I absolutely devoured this book. It is called The Future Was Now: Mad Men, Mavericks, and the Epic Sci-Fi Summer of 1982. It is by Chris Nashawati, and it's basically about the cultural impact, but more so the making of 8 incredible sci-fi films that came out in the summer of 1982. So check this out. Obviously, I'll leave the one that got my attention for last.
Hold on. Can we make it a game? Can we make it a game? Okay, E.T. is 1, but we got 7 more. I want the chat to light up, and I've got some guesses myself.
And no Googling.
Let's get the big one out of the way. We're a Star Wars podcast first and foremost.
Okay.
So, there is no Star Wars. I was off by 1 year.
I was going to say, where are you going with this?
I covered myself. All right. Got anybody chiming in? Anybody?
Can anybody guess the other 7? We already said E.T. That's a lot of dead space.
Yeah, I guess not.
Go ahead and guess.
All right. So
John's got one. John's got one. The Thing. That is correct. That is correct.
All right. I was wrong in my first guess. I was going to say Last Starfighter, but that's 1984. So
John's
already
got
out.
another one.
I'm already wrong.
And no Googling, John. John's got another one.
There we go.
Wrath of Khan. That's 3. Megaforce
I don't suppose Return of the Jedi being in production counts.
No, and it's not in production. They were released in the summer of 1982. Released. John Phillips also said Megaforce. That is not one of them. So a couple of these might not be so obvious because I don't think a couple of them are really sci-fi, but they clustered them in there with it. So, Chastity Crawley, there should just be a John drinking game. I'm sure that's something that can be created. You guys got to do.
We've done bingo. We can do a drinking game.
That's true. There is John Drake bingo that exists. All right, so we've gotten E.T. so far, The Thing, and Star Trek 2. And The Thing. So we've got 4. Sorry. Can I interest you in Poltergeist?
Oh man. Okay, that's sci-fi. All right.
Well, that's what I said. A couple of these are not. Okay. Any more guesses? There's one. The Big Chill is not one of them, John. That is actually not one of them. There's a super obvious one, AJ. Anybody who really knows me.
Johnny Dangerously.
Also not sci-fi. How about
not
Arnold
1982 either?
How about Arnold Schwarzenegger's first starring film role outside of Pumping Iron? That would be Conan the Barbarian.
Also not sci-fi.
Yeah, that's what I said. So we have, we've got. Let me think.
To quote Peter
3
Griffin,
left.
I suck.
Yeah. No, Kale, no, not Top Gun. That was a few years later. It was what, 1986, There you go, John. Blade
There's
Runner.
the one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my number 1, though. That's not my number 1. We still have.
There was a bigger sci-fi. Yes, there we go.
There's JT's number 1.
There we go.
Chaz got it. Tron. Yep. There you go. There you go. So yeah, and the one that nobody's probably going to get is Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior. So
man, you talk about it. Should we talk about that on the show sometime? There's a franchise that I think we can kind of love, but we never really paid attention to it.
I've never seen a single second of any of it, so it would require me watching a movie. But yeah, so the book is about the making of E.T., Blade Runner, The Thing, Tron, Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan, Poltergeist, Conan the Barbarian, and Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior. So awesome book. So I would highly recommend it. So
Kale, it's pronounced fack.
Kale said, I'm an Aussie and I don't give a fuck about that series. That is correct. It's pronounced fack. Speaking of fact, make sure you go watch Alley Cats on Netflix. If you like British humor and a whole boatload of cursing, you'll enjoy it. And if you like cats, so there you go. So
I like cursing and cats. That's a double whammy right there.
Well, they have cursing cats in this. So, and I think they've set the world's record for a certain word that you should not call a woman ever. You know, it's pretty much like every other sentence, if not every sentence. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. Enough of that crap. Let's get to the point. Can you get to the point, shithead? I'm holding in a huge piss. Name that movie, win a prize. So, yeah, let's jump right into it, man. You went to see Spider-Man Brand New Day. Pretty much, you went opening night, right? That Thursday.
I did, man. Dude,
Okay.
I'll tell you what, that theater right by me had 36 straight hours of showings. I thought it was bonkers, but it was hard to get a ticket for a change. Like, it was so refreshing. I was looking on like 48 hours prior to release, and instead of having like my pick of every seat in the theater, it was like, crap, which showings have anything but the front row available at this point?
Yeah.
The
Now,
hype
that was
for this movie was outstanding. What about you?
And that was Crocker Park you went to, right?
I looked all around, actually. I looked at the one nearest me, which is awesome, that Phoenix Theater that we went to. I looked
That
at
one's
AMC,
cool.
I looked
Oh,
at
yeah.
Cinemark, I looked at Regal. Yeah, like all the major chains and some of the lesser major chains too.
Mine wasn't nearly as bad, but I went on a Monday night at 5:20. So it was I went to a Cinemark out by us, and it just so happened that the earliest show I could get was that one, and it happened to be in D-Box and 3D, which you know me,
Darn.
I was like, oh shucks. So for those of you guys who don't know what D-Box seating is, the seat moves and rumbles and kind of goes crazy. It's like being on a roller coaster while you're watching the movie. And you can change this like how strong the effect is. You can go. I think it's like it's just like low, middle, high. I think it is like there's only like 3 or 4. But of course, my wife is on low. I'm on high. I'm like, let's roll. But yeah, and I love seeing anything in 3D that I possibly can. So yeah. So I just saw it recently, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. So,
I mean, for the web swinging alone, the intro sequence, it's worth it to get the 3D. I've actually not seen it in 3D yet. I got to go a third time because, yeah, the effects are amazing. Kale chiming in with the commenting on the show's subtitle here, best yet, ? Currently battling for my #1 against SM2 and No Way Home. So when you say SM2, do you mean like the Tobey Maguire, like Dr. Octopus Spider-Man 2?
That would be my assumption.
You're talking about?
That would be my assumption. That's hard, man. I
was hesitant to go that far with like the title and everything. Like, are we comparing this to like every Spider-Man movie or just of the Tom Holland Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man movies? Because, boy, I mean, it's up there. It's really up there. I guess we should have like strung that out a little farther in case people click off the video. But I mean, the movie's just great. I'm very happy to just say it's great. it's nice to be able to say that, isn't it?
Yeah, I was very pleased. I was not a fan of Far From Home. I thought that whole Mysterio,
yeah,
that villain was. I was like, yeah. That one, honestly, for me, was saved right at the end, where he gives away, Peter Parker's freaking identity. I was like, oh my God, well, doesn't that set something up? So, but other than that, that was definitely one of the weakest ones for me. I'm going to say it. Kale's choices are excellent, and those would be the ones that I think this is kind of in competition with as well. This is the best Star Wars, asshole. This is the best Spider-Man movie. Of
That's
any
a bold claim.
Of any of them, this is the best one. It's my favorite one.
See, I think that's doubly bold because one, it's the fourth one in this series in particular. It's hard to make your best movie the fourth one. One might argue Star Trek, yeah, with The Voyage Home.
Yeah.
But for the most part, by the time you get onto a fourth movie, it's a bit of a rehash, kind of more of the same. So that alone is amazing. And also think of like how great some of the Spider-Man movies have been. Like you're talking about the Tobey Maguire Dr. Octopus movie, and that's like gold standard right there.
Yeah.
And this is like, it fits nicely into like the current Marvel landscape of having other characters from other movies and TV shows and whatever being pulled in, and yet it's not just a whole bunch of multiverse schlock. It's actually still like a Spider-Man focused movie.
Yeah, 100%. I think what it is, and this kind of like, maybe I'll be beating a dead horse here, but I think this movie just proves why DC can't get it right. Because like you said, I mean, this is the fourth movie in the Tom Holland series. And yet, at least to me, and I've seen this actually from a lot of people, people are saying that this is the best one. That's very difficult to do, but it's been the same actor. There haven't been 18 Spider-Mans and like 16 plot lines. Like it's been one character all the way through. And so when they when they're doing character development and storyline development with that singular character, it actually means something. And I think that's why for me, this is the best one, because this was the most emotional one, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like when I was leaving the theater, I was like, see, this is what DC doesn't get. They don't write something and then ride with it and build it. The first Wonder Woman movie, for example, everyone loved it. They raved about it. Second one, everyone said it was crap. Okay, so make a third one. Just keep going with that character. Like, you can have a bad film in a series. It doesn't mean at the first sign of trouble you bail and start over. Like, it's it just sucks. Like that's just stupid. And so, like the Tom Holland series, you had Homecoming, which was like, holy shit, we got a new Spider-Man movie in this particular universe. And then the second was like, it was okay. They didn't, I mean, it still performed well at the box office, but it wasn't great. I mean, they didn't go, oh God, course correct. So are we having a cat invasion?
Yes. I'll kill my green screen here for a second because we have a guest on the show.
It's great for our audio viewers. It's Super Floof.
Yeah, welcome to my basement, and there's my kitty. Yeah,
that is Super Floof. Super Floof. She's super floofy. Yeah. She is extremely cute, guys. She's very tiny and she's all fur and all attitude. She's wonderful. So, Picky Lucy.
All right, she's going to join from my lap for the rest of the show, apparently, or the next 2 minutes.
I was going to say, whichever Her Highness decides.
Right.
Yeah. So I just think that DC just bails on things too quickly and reboots things too quickly. It's basically like the multiverse. Like, why am I supposed to care about this?
Mm-hmm.
What we said about the multiverse, where it's like, okay, well, you kill the guy, but he's alive in 1,000 other universes. Like, okay, well, there's no stakes there, right? For me. So, I think
we'll be talking about that soon enough. I mean, we do have Doomsday coming up at the end of the year, but that's for future Nerf Herder Council episodes.
Yes, and I am hopeful for a DC movie coming out later this year. I have to admit, I really want to see Clayface. So
okay, good call. Yes,
yeah. So it's like basically like the first like horror movie in the comic book genre of these films. So that's cool. But yeah, I think with this one, it's just there's the character stuff is so strong. Like this one balances the action and the emotion so very well. I almost cried at one point in this movie. That's never happened to me at a superhero movie. So
yeah, I've never really looked at these movies and had like a good critical opinion. Like, what do I think of the acting and the cinematography and all that? I'll tell you what, those things stood out as positives in this one.
Yeah.
This is just a well-made movie all the way around. What I'm wondering is, apparently somehow our own mother, who actually lets us know when Marvel movies are coming out, she wants to go see them all. She says she has never seen a Marvel Spider-Man movie, which basically means any Spider-Man movie. Because I asked her when this was coming out, like, do you want to go see it? And she's like, I don't think I've seen a Spider-Man movie. Now, if you haven't seen the previous three, do you think that this is a good jumping on point?
No, because a lot of the emotion comes from the Spider-Man, Peter Parker MJ storyline. and Ned too, but obviously not to that degree. So I think you really kind of have to know what I mean, at the very least, I think you would have to have seen No Way Home.
Yeah, by the time they get to the recap in the middle of the movie, if there's anything that might be a little bit extraneous, it's that. Like, they've already referenced the events before they've recapped the events for those who didn't see it. So I don't think it's really necessary to recap at that point. Then, well, you got it already, or you're too lost already.
Well, I think a reference is not the same as a recap. So
well, they did a montage,
we need a montage. Let's do a deep dive into that movie. Let's do a deep dive into Team America. So John Phillips says Spider-Man 2, I think, is the best. Then Spider-Man, Holland 1, then 3, then 4, then 2, then the Garfield duo, and last is Spider-Man 3. I got to go back and watch Spider-Man 3 because I don't remember thinking it was as bad as everybody else. I liked it. I mean, emo Peter Parker was kind of stupid, but I never saw a second.
That was the point, though.
But yeah, honestly, I never saw the Andrew Garfield ones because, say it with me, they tried that reboot shit, and you know how I feel about that.
Usually I'm on board, but like you, I didn't hate Spider-Man 3 enough to not want to see another Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. So when they're like, oh, we're doing it over again, like, why? There was nothing wrong with what you had going.
Yep, I agree. By the way, Kale also says, hold up. Well, yes, it's the fourth standalone. Wouldn't this also kind of be the seventh Holland Spider movie? Because Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, I argue those pieces at least make up to a fifth film worth. See, Kale, I don't think you can count those. Because then you have to go and say there's more Iron Man movies, there's more Captain America movies, there's more Thor movies. Like it's got to be like a standalone where they're like it's them. It's
funny
them.
though. He is getting up there in terms of like which characters have appeared the most.
I mean, he has. Well, no, Thor's got 4. I think it's just Thor and Spider-Man, right? Because there's no Iron Man 4. Well, Captain America's got 4, but okay. Do we count Captain America considering the most recent one?
No,
was Falcon, and
no, because it's a different character playing the role of Captain. It's not a different actor. It's not a recast. It's actually a different person in the universe.
All right,
assuming the mantle. So
yeah. So yeah.
I do have a couple of text comments that I got before we even went live today from Mr. Joseph Wren, Discuss Metal Joe. His argument for best one yet. He said, point number 1, if the newest film is truly the best, then it will replace all prior nostalgia or draw to rewatch the prior films. Does it do that for you?
Wait, what? Repeat that.
He's saying that if it's the best, then you should have no reason to like the other ones more or go back and watch the prior ones. If it's truly the best.
Who is that texting you?
That's Joe.
Mute his ass. That was dumb. No, absolutely not. That's like saying that Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie, so I can't go back and watch the original trilogy, or I can't go watch the original trilogy or Phantom Menace.
That was exactly my point. I was like, so because I think Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, does that mean that I should never want to go back and watch A New Hope?
Yeah, I love you, Joe, but I completely disagree with that. I mean,
yeah, being the best doesn't mean that it doesn't lean on other movies in the franchise.
And actually kind of makes me want to watch them even more. And honestly, my wife and I watched Far From Home and No Way Home the day before we went to see this one, because she's like, I don't remember any of that. And I was like, I remember No Way Home, but I don't really remember much of Far From Home. So, now I kind of go, I want to go watch them again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I don't. It doesn't diminish anything for me on those other ones. In fact, like I said, dude, it's crazy. It's like I never gave a shit about the Spider-Man character. It wasn't my thing, Okay. But I was still cool with it, But I know Spider-Man's like hugely popular. It's like Batman. Like, okay, I like Batman's cool to me, but I'm like, okay, whatever. It's not my choice of character. This movie has me interested in Spider-Man. Like it is like made me like a Spider-Man fan. And it's probably, the whole is what is really getting me. It's like, if you take them all in a lump, but this movie really like definitely put me over the edge. And I think it's because of the character. Like I just love what they've done with the character. Again, like this movie is just so great at the emotional part of things. And it's just when you know me, man, like when you have that, I don't mind when it's just like a straight action movie. Like that's the thing, like Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, great movie, but it's an action movie, it's an action movie. There's nothing really there.
Yeah, those movies are like campy. Like, oh my God, are they campy? But we knew that and we enjoyed it. Like, it's not a demerit. It's just a different type of movie overall, which is amazing. We're talking about the same character and the same rogues gallery. But yeah, this one, like you said, this has much more emotional depth to it. And the acting is just more grounded, I guess. Like events have stakes and actually affect the people more.
Yeah.
So well, I like that. The thing that I think is really amazing about this movie too is being the fourth in the franchise. We kind of backed into Peter's origin story, didn't we? Like that was one of the most exciting things about No Way Home was ending it with, okay, now this is the Spider-Man that we, quote, know and love. Whereas if there was any knock on the first three movies in this series, it was, this isn't Spider-Man. Spider-Man is, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's a street level kid with no money and no tech, and he just does it because he's talented and smart. And instead, we see the Iron Spider, and he's got Tony Stark money and all this sort of stuff. And they managed to make 3 movies out of that not being the character yet. They made a great trilogy of movies and then ended it with, now we're going to give you the Spider-Man that you were expecting.
Right. Yeah. And I thought I was happy that I know like everybody like forgets the whole Peter Parker thing and everything. So I was happy that it kind of went back to he's the good guy. Because I have to admit that was kind of a bummer for me in the third movie, and that's part of the plot. I'm not saying that it took away from the movie at all. It added to it for me, but it was such a bummer having Spider-Man being a bad guy. At least to the general public. Oh, he's a murderer. He's this, that, and the other. Like that was like, oh man, really? Like, because Spider-Man, you kind of figures is like Captain America. Like he's just that pure, 100% good.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I do love those characters, man. Like here and there, like I like a nuanced character, but sometimes I just want a Captain America, or in this case, a Spider-Man. And so that was kind of a bummer. So it was cool, the beginning of the movie, when they went and they were showing him like as the good guy, like, look at all this great stuff Spider-Man's doing. Yay. Like I really
and that's just a reaction, because so many of these Marvel movies have, it was a major plot point as far as like, that's what led to the split and led to Captain America Civil War, was the split between like, we need oversight. We need to work, the government needs to tell us where to go. We need to basically be, paramilitary and let Congress tell us where we can operate and all this other stuff. And I don't like, I got really sick of the idea of like, oh, well, I'm watching a superhero movie, but it's going to be a political debate over whether or not different governments are involved. And if this is, U.S. overreach in the global political stage and all that kind of stuff. Like, can we just get back to like, they got superpowers and they beat up bad guys with superpowers and the good guys always win? That's a fun concept. I like seeing those. And in this one, it just starts right off with, instead of like, well, wait a minute, like, is Spider-Man on the run because he's a vigilante? And, we don't like vigilantes anymore. So Spider-Man has to like be a hero, but hide in the shadows. And no, instead he's like, hey, I'm going to call my detective friend and get some tips. And we're going to talk back and forth because we have a rapport, because she's actually appreciative of me helping. And like, yeah, cool. I love it.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that far for me. Like I actually kind of thought that the whole Civil War debate, about, oh, we should be controlled. No, we shouldn't. I kind of thought that added a lot to the storyline, and kind of it goes against what you were
for a while.
Well, but see, I didn't think so because I you know, again, I'm all for it. Just like let's beat the shit out of people and let's have an action movie, stuff like that type of a deal. But I think at that point we had so much. Okay, I'm a superhero. I'm just kicking ass. That adding something of nuance to it, adding some different stakes and like kind of showing that, maybe they instead of they're all just like focused on this one goal, they're like, oh, they do have individual viewpoints. I kind of like that. I thought it added a layer to the storyline, so I enjoyed it.
I did too. But like all storylines, they eventually burn themselves out, and I had enough of that, and I wanted to just get back to a crime's being committed and a superhero steps in to help. Instead of, well, can the superhero step in, or is the superhero going to be hunted by the police because it's a crime to help because they're a vigilante, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I'm glad that, we had that phase where we had the debate of like, what is the oversight and who decides where the Avengers go and all that kind of stuff. And now we're back to, hey, there's someone grabbing a lady's purse down the street. Oh, here comes Spider-Man swooping in to help. Thank you.
Yep.
I like that.
Okay.
It's fun to shift the focus and just have a simpler story. And the other point that I wanted to make, tying on to the first thing about the first three movies being their own kind of like separate trilogy and like an alternate origin story of sorts. I didn't feel like, and I want to get your opinion on this. Did you feel like this was a smaller movie than the previous three?
Okay. It could have been until they revealed the identity of the villain. Because if you know who that villain is, then you realize, oh God, this could go really, 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 really bad. And that's adding some major stakes to what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So when they said who it was, and I know we're giving away spoilers, but I mean, should we just say, screw it?
Are we getting into spoiler territory?
You think it's the main villain, and it's also
I mean, like if we're getting into spoilers, then we'll say so, and then we can actually watermark this or chapter mark it in the video. Be like, that's our non-spoiler, and now we're getting into spoilers.
Yes. All right. So this is spoilers. Here we go. So we now have spoilers. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So when they revealed the villain to be Jean Grey, I went, oh shit. And Steph leans over, she goes, who's Jean Grey? Who's Jean Grey? I said, basically like the most powerful mutant there is. Like this could be like fucked. Like really big time. So yeah, and that's the thing, like this movie has such perfect balance in all areas. You've got all the crazy action, like that's amazing, but then like the heartfelt story and stuff like that. Even the relationship between him and the Punisher, like, and yeah, like you've got it did feel smaller because it's like, yeah, Spidey's helping out on the streets. Like you said, it's the Spider-Man we know and love. But then when you bring Jean Grey into it, you're like, oh boy, that's way bigger than just like some purse snatching, and immediately if you know who she is, then this is, okay, here, we're tying into Doomsday for sure. So that. So yeah, it's just they did it. They did the balance of everything so very well. So
it was incredible, right? Like we've sat through some Marvel movies that were overstuffed. It was very clear they had a checklist of things they wanted to include, and yeah, they got them all in there. It was a tangled mess and a disaster of a movie as a result, but they got them all in there, and this one somehow pulled it all together. Like they got the Punisher, which that character originated in a Netflix series that is no longer, or maybe is again semi-recognized as canon. I'm not even sure at this point. Then you got Hulk, which is, core Avengers team.
Yep.
Now you got Spider-Man, but as a ground level, like a city level hero, not I fight space aliens level hero.
Yep.
And then now we just pulled in like the first mutant of the X-Men here. So
yep,
that could have fallen apart so easily, and just somehow it all like kind of gelled together amazingly, like a great, like the late great Grief Karga said, You put those ingredients together, you got yourself a stew.
Right. So I have a point about that. Let me get to some chat comments here real quick, and I'm gonna write my little comment down on my notepad so that I don't forget it, because it's very important.
Write yourself a little note so you don't forget again.
Is that our first Limp Bizkit reference on the show? I think it is. I don't. God, have we ever quoted? I'm trying to think.
No, I don't think we have actually.
We usually quote movies. It would be song quotes on my other show.
Have you ever quoted Limp Bizkit on that show? I'm guessing not.
I think the only time we have is to mention Limp Bizkit, because I think I may have mentioned when Zach Wilde in Bruised, Boozed, and Broken Boned, their live DVD from Harpo's in Detroit, he just absolutely shit on Fred Durst like hard, like 3 times. It was. I do believe that the Detroit chapter of fucking Black Label Society is the fucking final nail in Fred Durst's motherfucking coffin. That's so
shit.
great. He hates that.
All right, anyway,
man.
you have notes.
Yes. So Chastity Crawley says, random fact, Far From Home was filmed super close to Tom's parents' home, so on breaks he went home. No Way Home was nowhere near his or his parents' homes. So basically, No Way Home was titled correctly, but Far From Home was not. Should it have said Not Too Far From Home? That would have been probably
close
better.
to home.
Kale says, actually, I have to say this film handled the emotional beats so well that it's probably the only time I've bought the talk the baddie out of it concept. Some wrongins need to be put on their asses. This wasn't that, and I was glad it wasn't. And he also agrees with us. He says, I was all about that. I thought it was a great way to go. Time has passed. Spider-Man is accepted as part of local law enforcement. So, yep. So that was, yes. All right. So my note is
on that last point with Kale, though, I want to react to that real quick, because I had the same observation. I thought it was, let's face it, one of the reasons they have to keep recasting Spider-Man is because he's supposed to be a high schooler, and you just don't get that many years with an actor looking plausible as a high schooler.
Yeah.
So to actually say, like, yeah, we're just gonna bump the timeline forward a few years, and now we can all accept that all these people don't look like they're in high school anymore. Brilliant, simple explanation. No notes.
Yeah. No, it was done like unbelievably well, man. And this movie felt to me, I mean, piggybacking off of your prior point, this movie felt to me like a movie from the Infinity Saga. Because even the worst of them, which was clearly Incredible Hulk, even the worst of them was still excellent. And none of those felt cluttered. We didn't really start getting into the cluttered, what the hell's going on type of stuff until you got into, the multiverse stuff after Endgame. Because you had, Doctor Strange 2 and Quantum Mania, and it's like, what is going on? I mean, and I'm sorry. You also had, some television. Like I'm only a few episodes into Loki still, because I'm like, what this is, huh? It's so convoluted. And then you had that horrific piece of trash WandaVision. I don't care what anybody says, that was shit on a stick. I was like, this is crap. What is this? And everyone's like, oh, it's like the greatest thing. I'm like, no, it's not. It's fucking weird. Like, she's on an acid trip, man, of grief. Okay, do we need a whole show about this? Like, she took over a whole town or something, and she's in a team. What is that? And so this movie, to me, like, this is kind of like that.
Do we need to rank the Disney Plus Marvel shows?
Yeah, because I'd have to watch a bunch of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of homework for you then.
Yeah. This really felt old school to me in all the best ways. Like you said, this is not cluttered. They have a bunch of villains. Like, I know Scorpion's in the beginning. And who's that other guy? Like the dude in the suit that kind of looked like Kingpin or something. Who the hell was that? I couldn't.
That's Tombstone.
Okay, so he was in there for a hot minute.
Yeah, it's just an Easter egg for the comic book fans.
Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, it did not feel overstuffed. You understood what was going on. You understood the stakes. You understood how it tied into the bigger storyline. I mean, it was so well done. It felt like the movies used to feel. I'm like, oh my God, they can still do that was my response. That was my initial my reaction was, oh my God, thank God they can still do this. Because I have to admit,
Yes.
I've been bummed out with these last few movies. Because it's like it's just not good, man.
Even as much as we both love No Way Home, it was a bunch of multiversal nonsense. It was a great nostalgia trip to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being Spider-Man again and getting their moment in the sun. But shit, that was all Easter eggs and member berries, and it wasn't. The movie falls apart without it. Basically, if you hadn't seen those prior movies, would you give a shit about that casting?
You mean if those movies didn't exist and they had 2 more Spider-Men in it?
Right. Yeah, I mean that movie
Wow.
relied entirely on nostalgia. The only reason we cared that there were 2 other Spider-Men is because we'd seen the movies with those Spider-Men. If they were just like, here's 2 no names who, yeah, they're Spider-Man from another universe. Don't care.
That's a hard one to answer because
Here's Willem Dafoe being the Green Goblin. The only reason we care is because, oh my God, we haven't seen Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin since 2002.
But see, I understand what you're saying. And to a point, I agree with you. But I also would devil's advocate this conversation by saying, to me, that's how you do a multiverse. Not like the end of Quantum Mania where it's like, we defeated Kang. No, there's a gajillion more. Fuck you. Like, no.
That's my point. That's my point. The only reason you care about those multiverse people is because you've seen them before. You can't just throw multiverse people out there because, hell, there's a million other Spider-Men that we haven't seen. They didn't pull the no name. They pulled the ones we've seen. So,
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I would have an easier time dealing with the multiverse if they did them all like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not
this
saying
movie is almost multiversal like that. Like I said, you got the Punisher, who came from a Netflix Marvel series that they disavowed for a while, and now they're trying to like retcon in through the multiverse to say that it counts anyway.
Why did they? Why? Wait, okay, I didn't hear this. Like, and just super quick because it's off topic, but why are they disavowing the Punisher series?
Basically, when they licensed out their characters to Netflix for their shows, they're like, yeah, go and do your TV shows and it can be its own bubble. Like, basically, we're not going to acknowledge or disavow it. It's just going to be something that doesn't cross with the movies. We can assume it takes place in the same New York, but no one's calling Daredevil to help the Avengers or vice versa. It wasn't until Wilson Fisk got involved and they're like, yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio, you did a great job. Hey, come be Kingpin in a Marvel movie or a Marvel Disney Plus show. That was the first time that they actually implied that the things that happened in those shows actually happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, go on. I wasn't aware of that. So
that's one branch. It's like I said, it's almost in real life, in a meta sense, multiversal. Yeah. Because like I said, they're like, yeah, you could tell stories of Marvel characters, but we're just not going to have your Marvel characters cross paths with our Marvel characters. So there's nothing to say that it did or didn't happen in the same continuity.
Yeah.
And then you've got Hulk, which obviously comes from the Avengers, which is its own thing. And then you pull in Jean Grey, which used to be a Fox property because they licensed it out. And now they got the rights back. So they've recast that as a new character entirely. Yet we've got Doomsday coming up that has the Fox X-Men in it. So
yeah,
it's a jumbled mess. And yet this all exists only in this one continuity. It's amazing that they got all those parts to work and it's not a contrivance. It's like, yeah. Well, Hulk has met Peter Parker before, so fine, you can have Hulk in it. No problem. And nothing ever said that the Punisher wasn't in that universe. So sure, the Punisher could be in it too. And by the way, here's a Jean Grey that is definitely not the one that we have said is from a different universe. So there you go. Here's the Marvel 616 universe Jean Grey.
Nice. Yeah, that is a lot when you phrase it that way. But again, it doesn't feel cluttered, like you said. And I'm wondering, like, I don't, how am I going to phrase this one? Like I said, like, I had that feeling immediately, like, okay, are they back? And I hate to phrase it this way because it's so, it sounds like just looking down on them, but it's like, did they learn their lesson? Like, did they finally understand, like, doing all these like D and E and F level characters that no one gives a shit about? It's like, stop. Like, I don't need the Eternals. I don't need Miss Marvel. I don't need God, what are some of the other ones? Luke Cage and all, like stop. Like, like, I get it. Like, they exist, and for the comic book crowd, it's a big deal. But for the larger public, it's like,
I think that the name you're reaching for is Shang-Chi. Great movie. I actually enjoyed that one a lot, but to the average fan who doesn't follow Marvel Comics, you're like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. And like you said, good movie. But then of course we haven't seen him since. So
Which is a big problem.
Yeah. But correct me if wasn't
sorry, one character we haven't talked about, the new Black Widow.
Oh, yeah. The sister, yeah.
Yeah, also great. And I love that it makes sense. It fits in. It's like, technically she's an Avenger, and we're like, it's not a cameo for cameo's sake. It's like, oh, it makes sense because they're in New York too.
Yeah. But
and she actually says, like, this is below pay grade. Yeah. That is a great way to explain, because that's always the problem since they started expanding the whole cast. Like, well, the Avengers just kind of, why is it like only Iron Man fighting? Where the hell is Captain America, Thor, Hulk, and everything? It's like, well, you don't always need everybody, especially if those heroes are like, okay, that's a dude trying to break into a building or steal money from a bank. We're out here fighting like multiversal threats. Your shit doesn't matter. Go handle it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a great explanation. Just have the bigger level heroes be like, you know what? I think you got this. It's not worth our attention.
Yeah, I like that character, and I like how they handled that, like small potatoes, like Kale said in the chat. Okay, so that wasn't just me. Yeah, you just glitched hard. Okay. So,
I lost the entire feed for a second there, so yeah.
All right, so that was you.
I didn't see you either. I've never seen a picture glitch like that.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I thought Kale asked in the chat, was that just me or did AJ glitch? He says, no, that was not just your end. It was death. Nice.
It was an incursion.
It was. By the way, Chastity Crawley, she's right. I skipped the random Hulk movie when I binged the MCU movies. More like Hulk movie. Yeah, I have to admit I skipped that one too. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But even that Black Widow character, I'm kind of like, okay, like Thunderbolts. I didn't see it because I'm going, well, all right, like
you should.
Yeah, dude. So I like the Black Widow character. I like what's the red what, like the Russian Captain
Red Room.
What?
Oh, Red Guardian.
Red Room. The Red Guardian's awesome.
No,
obviously,
Red Room was where they trained the Black Widows. So
I know, but yeah, I know there's like another, like a mascot, whatever. So I like those characters, but for some reason, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the show where that basically kind of predicated from, didn't grab me. And dude, it's probably just because Captain America is my favorite, is like my third favorite movie character ever, behind Han Solo and Indiana Jones. I don't like this. There are other people taking up the mantle. Like, fuck off. You're not Captain America. and especially to have that blonde haired chump, whoever the hell, John, what's his nuts. I'm like, get out of here. Stop it. Like, that just annoyed me. And so having to watch more of that, I was like, dude, come on. So, I mean, Steph and I both said we want to watch all the stuff we haven't watched going into Doomsday because we don't want to be too lost. Honestly, dude, we counted. There's 14 movies that happened after Endgame that we counted on Disney Plus. We've seen 6. I've missed 8 movies.
So what brought this one? What brought you back to the theater for this one? Besides me saying I wanted to talk about it,
it's Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, cool. Like if they put out a Captain America movie with Chris Evans, yes, that would get me. I heard that the Thor: Love and Thunder wasn't very good, but I'd go see a Thor movie. Hulk, like I like the characters that are the core.
Okay, so there's a good example. We both love Ragnarok. Why didn't you see Love and Thunder?
Because it had started to get to the point of weirdness. And it was that multiverse shit, and that multiverse thing just turned me off. Like the Doctor Strange 2 and then Quantum Mania, I was like, what is this? And everything started to get so weird that I was like, I don't want to see weirdness.
So do you feel like this movie's a bit of a reset then?
Yes. And I think that's why I like it. And I get it, like things have to progress. But dude,
or maybe not a reset, but a course correction, right? Like it's not undoing the multiverse, it's just not dealing with it.
It's getting back on track to what these movies used to be in terms of story and quality. You know, and again, I understand things need to progress, and you can't just do the same thing all over and over and over again. I get that that's a philosophy, but I'm sorry, I'm not one of those people that gets into that. You know, I say it all the time in relation to music. If I go buy a Van Halen record, I want to hear a goddamn Van Halen record. If I go buy a Queensryche record, I want a goddamn Queensryche record. And this is a music reference, but the last great Queensryche record from the original lineup was Promised Land in '95. Then they went and got all like modern rock, weird rock. They started screwing around with this format. I'm like, this is trash. Can you
stop making us sound so friggin' old? All your references for music are like 40 years old or more. It's ridiculous.
But that's fine.
You're old even for our age.
Look, man, it's what I like. What? I'm gonna bring up the Bruno Mars catalog or some shit. Like,
can you talk about how like we hate the new Linkin Park singer compared to Chester? At least that was this millennium.
I just don't pay attention. Well, but what I'm talking about is like, I mean, like a band like Queensryche, it's enough of a catalog like the Marvel universe is why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing up bands that have a lot of material. I don't want change. Like when I go to buy this, like Anthrax, there, fine. You want me to be even older? There you go. Anthrax is coming out with a new record, first one in 10 years. I don't want to hear like a rap album. I want old school Barry. I want thrash metal. I want heavy Anthrax. I don't want to hear them. Oh, we're experimenting now. We're gonna freaking go outside the box on this one. No, I don't want that.
And yet I'm going to push back on you on this one, because the thing that we love about this movie is that it's not just the same Spider-Man we've been spoon-fed for 3 movies.
Is it though?
I view it as the start of hopefully a trilogy. I don't know what their contract deal is, but I mean, they set it up. They've reset the character in a way, like they stripped away all the Tony Stark stuff. They stripped away all the high-end stuff, and now it's just like your street-level Spider-Man with his own suit and his own tech, figuring out his way of dealing with stuff. And the current Avengers, whoever may or may not be in that lineup, is like, yeah, you're down here, we're up here. We'll call you if we need you, but basically, whatever you're dealing with, you handle it, and we'll go deal with other stuff that's more important. And I like that, because once Spider-Man was that's the problem. It's like, I always go back to wrestling, but like you always build to these big pay-per-views, the big shows, and then you have to like you can't keep escalating. At some point, you have to like refocus on a new storyline and de-escalate and build back from zero again. So once you're already at like Thanos and Endgame and, oh my God, half the universe is going to be obliterated. And then what did they do next? They tried to go, well, one universe is threatened. What's worse than that? Every universe. There's an infinite number. And that's when you and most of the general audience tunes out and goes, I don't care. If there's infinite universes, then there are no stakes because there's always someone else who could take over if that one dies.
Yeah.
So to take this guy back to his roots and be like, yeah, now he's just swinging through buildings and getting cop cars thrown at him or vice versa, and someone might get hurt. And that's enough for this movie to feel important. I love that.
No,
like,
I do too.
He loses control and one cop almost dies. He's like, oh my God. And I felt it too. I love that because when you're like, well, this whole planet just got obliterated, I don't care.
Yeah, dude, I could see that. I agree with you on that. But I don't think this is a different Spider-Man than we've seen.
That might be the best statement, actually. I don't think the character changed. I think the circumstances around him changed. Because those are the two general stories, right? Is either you got a story where a character changes over time to react to his surroundings, or the character stays the same and the surroundings change. Like Captain America, one of your favorites, like Spider-Man, doesn't change. Captain America is the same Captain America from First Avenger all the way through Endgame. And it's the world around him that changes, and he's the one that says, no, this change is wrong. I'm sticking to what I believe in. Whereas you have like a Tony Stark who starts off as like, I'm going to make all the money, I'm going to make the missiles and just be a billionaire. And then he's the one at the end who's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself in the noblest way possible for everybody else because that's what's right. So he changed over time instead of everything else. And Spider-Man's the same way, like you said, with Captain America, where the guy who first showed up in Civil War at the airport battle, I think is the same guy who's in this movie, really. Do you feel differently?
More mature, more world weary, but like undaunted.
Well put.
Undaunted. So yeah, and that's why I say I don't think this is like some new Spider-Man. You know, I think it's kind of like, God, I hate using this term, battle hardened. You know, I mean, he was a teenager. He lost Aunt May. You know, he went through the whole, you know, the Thanos thing and all this other stuff. And then, you know, the whole MJ situation, you know, he's experienced so much loss. And then all of a sudden he has to willingly give up MJ. And, you know, in this movie, you know, I mean, and dude, and they did it so well too. Like, cause your whole, like, it's like, he's like been through so much. And when he's finally on the rooftop after he saves MJ, and they get to the part where they kiss, right?
Oh,
you're like,
boy.
You're like, oh,
let's talk about it.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God. Like she remembered this, that, and the other. And my wife is so much smarter than me because I just get into the emotion of things, and I'm you know me. How many times have I said on the show, when we go to a new Star Wars movie, I could barely tell you what the plot was because I'm just in my seat going, "It's the Star Wars! Look, it's new Star Wars! Oh, new Star Wars! New Star Wars! New Star Wars!"
Yeah,
like you know. And so but I do that with most movies. I go to movies to be entertained, which is why I get pissed off when people nitpick a really entertaining movie for no reason. It's like, shut up, man. What are you doing? Go away, read a book. Like, oh, there's Superfloof, the return of Superfloof. Superfloof, the official kitty mascot of the Nerf Herder Council. Yeah. But yeah, like you're so invested in it that, you know, you forget things. But yeah, when the whole MJ thing comes on and you're like, oh my God, yes, she remembered him. Like, oh, it's happening. Like, you know, his heart kind of like, you could see just, you know, and I know we don't talk about acting much in this because unless the acting's just god awful, like, you know, it's good. I thought the acting with Tom Holland and Zendaya in this movie, I thought it was just phenomenal. I mean, Tom Holland especially. And you could just see him like, oh my God, she remembers me. Oh my God, like I've got MJ back and the kiss, whatever. And then when it come to find out it's not her, it's Jean Grey. So you're like, okay, his heart breaks all over again. And you're like, oh my God, like it's like you're like, son of a bitch, man. Like, and like I was thinking, my wife is so much smarter than me because like right after she's like, that's not her. And I was like, I'm thinking you're wrong this time. Like this is gonna be like, no, she was right. She was right. Like,
I made a note of that in the second screening. Actually, I was like, wow, Jean Grey is a dick.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need to tease the poor guy. Like you were in his brain enough to know how badly he needed and wanted that to happen. And you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna toy with this guy. Come on.
Yep. Well,
come on. As someone who's, I don't know how many times you've been the victim of unrequited love, but I've had a couple experiences in my life, and damn, to fantasize like if they just felt the same, and knowing that she did previously.
Yep.
And his wish is the reason she doesn't feel that way. To have it back, but only as a tease to like mock his desperation, like, wow, that's villainous.
Yeah. Well, and I dude, that's just another perfect example of character development and also, the emotional stakes of this movie and adding to the, they did it so well because we know Jean Grey from, the Fox X-Men movies and stuff, at least, if you followed it that long. If you were old, there you go, asshole, which we saw them in the theaters. But so what we kind of saw, it wasn't like, I mean, we saw like the good guy version of her, unless you're talking about, the third X-Men movie where all hell breaks loose. And really, she was just absolutely annihilating things. It was just violence, like rage and violence, pretty much. This, to your point, adds that layer of, okay, like she is lashing out from her place of pain and trying to hit somebody else where it hurts, which is, I mean, in a way, that's worse than leveling a city, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
That
was my feeling. Was it's one thing to just say like, you're in my way and I'm going to clear you out of my way, but she took a detour just to mess with the guy.
Yeah. And it's so brutal when it happens. Because, to your point, like, I mean, so many of us have been there where it's like, let's say, a girl breaks up with you and you're like, oh, I still love him. I want him back. And oh, if I could only, and that feeling, if she does finally come back, she's like, oh, I do want you. And like a sucker, you fall for it, like the person that broke your heart, you're going back and you get that first kiss and that first, like, oh my God, like, it's like just the most incredible thing. And so he had, and then, nope, it's Jean Grey. And you're just like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Like it's, oh my God. So, but there's a lot of moments like that in the movie. I wouldn't say that's strong, but there's a lot of emotional beats like that. Even stuff with the Punisher, where he kind of shows like a softer side, like, getting kind of worked up when he thinks that Peter died or whatever, when he thinks he shot him and stuff like that. And I mean, I think that's what sets it apart is that, again, it's not just an action dump. It's not just a special effects dump. This is like those really good, to me, it's one of the best Marvel movies ever made. I'm going to say it's my favorite Spider-Man, and it's one of the best Marvel movies ever made, period. Because it hits all those good points that the ones that we love the most hit. Iron Man. The ones that seem to hit the hardest are the ones that actually get the emotional stakes right. And this one totally does.
Actually, especially that's one of the things of these kind of movies with superheroes is they're basically indestructible. We know that they're not going to get pulverized into. They just don't die. They don't die.
Yeah.
So how do you hurt a superhero when physical violence isn't going to do it? You got to hit him emotionally.
Yeah.
And this movie does a great job of taking all the characters really and poking at them where they're the most vulnerable. Even Bruce. I mean, everybody that Jean possesses, when they come out of it, they're like, oh my God, where am I? What did I do? Is anyone hurt? What did I do? What am I responsible for? And poor Bruce Banner, man, you talk about a guy who's been through the ringer in the MCU. Like, what did you feel about him? Because we've seen like the default Hulk, which is I get angry and I turn into the green guy. Then we got Ragnarok Hulk, which was I'm just going to stay as Hulk and everybody loves me.
Yeah.
To Endgame Hulk, we get Smart Hulk, where he's like, I put the brains and the brawn together. And then in this one, he loses Smart Hulk, and now we get real Hulk.
Yeah.
Like friggin' real Hulk. How cool was that?
Yes. I didn't know you could get this big. That was
right?
so badass. Yeah, that was. I mean, and I thought it was awesome when you see Bruce Banner in the first place in the movie, because you're like, oh, am I going to get some smashing? Please get me some smashing. Like, and I love both sides of the character, and it's so cool whenever you see him, because you do think, well, am I going to get some smashing? Like, you're on the edge of your seat, like you don't trust that he's just only going to ever be just Bruce Banner throughout a movie, you know. Yeah. So you're like, oh, when's it going to happen? It's kind of like that, cliffhanger until it actually happens. So yeah, I thought that was amazing.
Was that a bit of an Easter egg too, do you think? Because the 2003 Hulk definitely acknowledged that the more pissed off he is, the bigger he gets. But yeah, kind of like they left that alone in the MCU until now, and then they're like, oh yeah, well, there's Smart Hulk and he's about like 7.5 feet tall. Real Hulk, like Blind Rage Hulk, he's like 10 foot plus.
Yeah, and well, and by the way, I have to get to some chat here real quick, but yes, I thought that was an Easter egg too. I agree with that. I think that was a good thing to bring in, because I think the other ones, even the I'm good, I'm Bruce Banner, I'm the Hulk, like from the get-go, I think there was some sort of restraint there, like he was fighting internally to, oh my God, I can't do this. I think this is finally that, like you said, like just blind rage, I'm full Hulk. So I thought the fact that they made him bigger was awesome. Kale, in terms of the MJ kiss, he says the pitch meeting in this one was brilliant. Oh, so we'll have MJ punch him or something? Nah, we'll have her kiss him, pretend that brought back her memory, then jump off the roof. Jesus. Right. Very true. John Phillips, he says, at the end, should have been a scene of Yelena telling Peter that she knew of a place where Jean could go. Show her walking in and seeing a wheelchair. And, yep. John, I agree. I was waiting for that. I thought the post-credit scene was going to be something with Professor X's school and Jean Grey. I really did. I was really surprised that it was kind of as pee-pee as it was. So,
yeah, people want to believe that the scene of the bus was like, oh, that looks like upstate New York. Maybe. I like that they left it ambiguous, because if they explicitly said it, then we're all just waiting for the X-Men to show up. But this way, they can take their time.
Okay, I'm cool with that. I just think that the end credits scene is like, well, this is going to be so nitpicky. I want something better than that. Both me and my wife really had to pee, and we sat through all the credits, and then we get the Spidey tracker, and it just basically he's in space. Okay, we know it's going to be something like outlandish because of Doomsday. We get that. Give me something else, something meatier to chew on. But
I mean, yeah, if we're going to be nitpicky about the post-credit scene, doesn't the tracker just track sightings? Like, oh, someone reports they've seen Spider-Man, so it puts it on a map. It's not like they shoved an air tag up his ass.
What if they did?
Maybe.
What if he did?
I don't know what they're into. No king shaming.
King shaming. There's another first Nerf Herder Council. There's a term we've never used.
I thought you had to opt into Apple Family, but apparently not.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, yeah, the Hulk thing was awesome. It was like you said, it was blind rage Hulk. I will say that was another one of those moments that hit me, like when he starts just slightly calming down and he goes over the edge of the building. You're like, I was like, wait, did they? No, they didn't just kill the Hulk. Because I thought he was gonna. Yeah, spoilers, guys. I thought basically he was changing it back into Bruce Banner, which means he's going down. He's gonna have all these parts of the building just crush him. I was like, oh my god, did they just kill off Bruce Banner and the Hulk? Like, did this just happen? And then you see him in the ambulance. You're like, oh my god, okay, like, wow, okay. And that takes a minute to show too. So it's unlike the Chewbacca quote unquote death in Rise of Skywalker that we've kind of lamented that didn't hit hard enough because they just basically immediately gave it away. This one took a minute. And speaking of deaths, I wondered if they were killing off Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, well, because I don't know what's coming later, but when, he jumps in front of the sniper bullet to save Jean Grey, you're just like, wait a minute. Did they just kill him? Did they? And that's the part where I almost cried. And it was so organic too. It wasn't like I was like trying to force myself like, oh, this is emotional. Like, no, I really was like, oh my God, this is going to suck if they killed him. Like, so that's what cemented it for me that this movie is so excellent, because it's a fucking superhero movie. And yet I almost cried over a character that previously I liked, but I mean, it wasn't Captain America to me. So like, it wasn't on that level. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, like I almost like I teared up a little bit. I was like, what is going on with this movie? So yeah, I honestly twice in this movie thought they were going to kill off a major character.
Was it partially because Tom Holland has been playing him long enough that you're like, yeah, this is about the time that an actor would be leaving the role for a recast, especially in the multiverse saga where they could just grab another one. There's already been with how successful the Across the Spider-Verse animated movies have been. There's been a big call for like, when are we getting Miles Morales in the MCU? It's like, hopefully when Tom Holland says he don't want to do it no more, instead of the studio saying like, oh, there's another demographic.
Yeah, I don't think it's because I figured it was time. For me, it was emotional investment in the character. I mean, wow.
So you actually thought that the title character was going to die in this one based on that scene, huh? They had you hooked that bad.
I was thinking like, oh my God, like, because that's like a swerve that they could do. That's something that they could actually get to. I mean, they've killed off other characters before. I mean, when you kill off Tony Stark, I mean, if you kill off Tony Stark, I think anything's on the table, right? So I wasn't sure. I'm thinking, okay, well, they do want to kind of bring in all these other characters for Doomsday. Are they going to get a major character out of the way so that they can kind of have more focus on like the Fantastic Four or, the X-Men or Thunderbolt, something like that, like,
yeah.
Is that what they're going to do?
Okay, so I'll give my own outdated reference. So you're thinking it's more like Transformers 1986, where they're just going to like off all the OG characters because they need to make room for the new ones?
Oh, see, now who's old?
I called it out, though.
I don't want to hear it. You still did it.
Hey, we're going to have to talk about that movie at some point, too, because that's getting re-released in theaters for the 40th anniversary. And they added a post-credit scene.
It says, sorry for killing off your favorite Transformers.
He might not be dead.
Does that mean that they're resurrecting the series and starting it from that point?
We don't know.
I haven't watched Transformers in forever. When that comes out, let me know. I'll go with you.
Heck yeah, man. October.
So John Phillips says, I didn't like that Jean got away with it. I didn't have a problem with that, John, because I think, I don't know. I think because we know that she's a good guy. We kind of know where she ends up. I didn't have that big a problem with it. And also, again, I think kind of like what I've always said about the Anakin Skywalker turn to Darth Vader. I'm always a fan of a character's motivation, not just being, well, I'm a prick. You know, it's I and in this case, Jean Grey had just suffered like such an emotional trauma. You know, she couldn't find her sister, like they were so close, and then all of a sudden, like finding out her sister's actually dead, like puts her over the edge. Like I'm okay with that. So I didn't, you know, her quote unquote getting away with it. I don't think she really did a lot. She froze a ton of people. And then
she didn't kill anybody, apparently.
Yeah.
Even the guy that got hit by a car, he was shown later in the movie.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, this is my sick ass. So, you know, I love horror and I love gore. When that, you know, scientist guy or whatever, the suit, when she had him like in the chair and she had all those shards of glass like an inch from his face, just like holding them there, like before they just rip into his and just like turn his face into hamburger. I'm not even kidding. When they got really close, I was like, man, it'd be awesome if they just actually like threw you a swerve and just hellraisered the shit out of this guy's face. You're just like, oh, they couldn't show that in a Marvel movie. And it's like, like his tongue's hanging out everywhere and blood and just carving and muscle and eyeballs popping. I'd be like, yes. And the whole theater would be like, what the fuck? Little kids are like, man. Like, that's kind of sick shit that I'm into. Like, just for that one moment.
Just vault right past Deadpool's rated R and go straight to like NC-17 to like snuff film levels.
Yes.
Like, well, there's Human Centipede or Spider-Man 4. Which one do you want to watch?
Right. Just make it black and white like Human Centipede 2 because it was too gross. Weaver 8874, good to see you, says it would be cool if they incorporated Venom into the MCU now. Maybe it could infect one of the other multiverse Spider-Man or just somebody else in the MCU. That's actually, I think that's kind of a cool idea because that's kind of one of those that's, you know, if a character turns, that's a legitimate explanation. It's not your typical mind control thing. Like Venom's popular. I wish those movies were better, but I mean, the actual Venom character and the way he interacts with Eddie is funny as hell. But yeah, Weaver. I
talk about like the one multiversal character that I will accept. Like, yeah, can we pull Tom Hardy Venom into the MCU? Can we get like MCU level writing for that character, please?
Yeah,
because I want to see him written well.
Yes. Speaking of, I really hope that the Ryan Gosling Ghost Rider gets it right as well, because just the concept of the Ghost Rider character is cool as shit. So that's a whole nother story for another time.
I did have a note though that ties into your last comment though about Venom. Like, when Spider-Man lost his shit on Scorpion, not realizing that it was Jean possessing him, like that fight was so violent and it was so cool. I actually made a note in my phone. I was like, I would love to see black suit Spider-Man, and basically what they did in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, but done with like Tom Holland Spider-Man. I want to see like that viciousness of Spider-Man. Like how badly could he kick people's asses if he didn't have any restraint?
Oh, we almost saw it in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's what the black suit does. Is it, you know, the symbiote like drives him crazy. So yeah, give me that. I want to see what that's like.
Yeah, and I want to get to that, by the way. That's another point I wanted to bring up. Let's do some chat. So Chastity Crawley says, wait, this Spider-Man is way after X-Men, right? Didn't she die? She pushed the plane away. That was one thing that I was a little confused about, because this is a young Jean Grey. So that's some multiverse shit, isn't it? Like, I would guess that was my only question. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, where does this occur?
Yeah. As far as I know, and I'm not a historian on these things, but take anything you saw in a Fox X-Men movie and just assume it's off in some other universe, some other timeline.
Okay. Yeah, actually, Kale says that. He says, no, Chaz, this is one of the many universes, so I don't think X-Men has happened at all in this universe. Okay. Yeah. Chaz. Yep. Chastity Crawley nails it. Gotcha. We need a damn flow chart for which universe or timeline we're in.
If Marvel didn't make the movie, it doesn't count unless they say it does.
Yep. Kale says, yeah, I don't know. A flow chart would help. It's more like a chalkboard with red rope. Yep. Nailed it. So yeah, so that's Weaver with another one. He says, if Tom Holland Spider-Man became Venom, he could maybe team up with Dr. Doom, who is potentially an Iron Man variant. It's like the evil reunion of those characters. Ooh. Not a bad idea.
That's more than multiverse shenanigans, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the prevailing theory, is that they wouldn't cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doom unless there was a link between Tony Stark and Dr. Doom. So,
well, there already is. We already know that. See, that's the thing. We already know that. They both have a goatee. So, yeah. And I know we're going to get going here pretty soon. We don't want to go in like 3 hours on this, but one thing that I thought was amazing. This is one of the most incredibly well-written parts of the movie to me, was how they finally made Spider-Man, like the web stuff, like is organic. I love that. I was like, and because honestly, I had completely forgotten that he actually had like devices to do it. Like, I had completely forgotten about that. I was like, wait a minute, that isn't like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And I thought, when they brought it in and he couldn't control it, and it's like his pupils got all black, and he was like, like, okay. And he, it was just so powerful, he couldn't control it. I was like, oh man, okay. And then as the movie goes, and then eventually like he gets it under control. So now it's like, it's him. He's got those, like, I thought that was so unbelievably badass. Like, I just thought that was written so incredibly well. That was one of my very favorite parts of the movie. It was a very cool way to get back to the, the origins of the character. So in that way, I will say that's the Spider-Man that we know and love it. But basically, because, from the comics, like there wasn't, Tony Stark devices. So I thought that was,
and the
awesome.
other thing that was cool about that was that he had that conversation with the other Spider-Man in the last movie about, like, wait, you don't have organic webs? You have devices? And now, like, oops, look who's got organic webs now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And the fact that he sucked with them at first too.
Yes.
Was also really cool.
Well, and they brought the Spidey sense into it a lot more, which is something I've always thought, like, why don't they use that more? Like that
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Once Punisher was confirmed and shown in trailers and stuff, I was like, oh, we're getting all the Daredevil stuff going on. And the Hand was in it, and the Hand was also introduced in the Daredevil Netflix stuff. So I'm like, okay, so they've got the Hand, they've got Punisher. As soon as they had a scene of him going on the rooftop, and all of a sudden, like, the sounds are like too much for him, and they're crushing in on him, I'm like, yes, we're going to get Daredevil. We're going to get Charlie Cox's Daredevil. It's going to be amazing, because who knows better than how to, like, focus and, like, tune out what you don't want and tune in the stuff that you do want. Like, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Yep.
And they didn't bring him in.
I wonder
if they had do that Matt Murdock in the last fucking movie, and they didn't bring Daredevil into this one. That, I'm sure it was deliberate, because they're making Daredevil's TV shows with the guy right now. So it's not like Marvel couldn't get the actor to play him. I don't know why they chose deliberately to leave him out of this movie when it was right there.
I was kind of surprised they didn't bring him in either. Just because that would have been such a perfect, like he could be like a mentor or something. But when I thought about it afterwards for a while, I was like, nah, that could have turned out to be kind of heavy-handed, I think.
One character too many, you think?
Yeah, and I think it worked better instead of, like, Daredevil training him on, well, here's how you deal with it. I think it worked better the way that they did it. You know,
He just kind of figured it out. Like no one trained him on it.
Well, but it was like
maybe that was the point.
Yeah, but to me it was kind of like he was like getting his emotions under control is what it was. You know, he had to relive the Aunt May thing a little bit, and then he was trying to, you know, and so that part of it was cool. It was, you know, it was him like the Hulk having to learn control. You must learn control. So yeah, that's what I took from it. It was he had been through so much trauma, and it's kind of like, well, how do you deal with it? How do you react to it? How do you keep it under control and not let it consume you?
And that was his lesson to Jean. That's what finally calmed her down.
Yeah.
You know, tying back to the previous comment of, how do you defeat? You don't punch Jean Grey into submission. You talk her down.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a nice novel approach on this one, to be like, it's always more interesting when heroes fight heroes. You know, one might be like corrupted or on the wrong side of something, but you never win by like beating the crap out of them. You win by making them see your side of things.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. In general, like I think this movie just it's weird because we're talking about a guy who swings from webs between buildings in New York, but it felt more grounded all the way around, like all the little details. What I caught on a second viewing was, like you said, the organic webs. I'm looking at the wallpaper behind us right now, actually, not our individual wallpapers, but like the screen.
Yeah.
And there's wrinkles in his suit. Just that little detail being like, it's made of fabric. Fabric creases when it bends. Like I noticed those little details, like when that first web swinging, and it's got like the shaky cam, and like that's why I want to see it in 3D, because that was the first time I really remember feeling like, I don't know, it hit more real than any other web swinging we've seen before. And like I noticed even on the first viewing, like when he's swinging, there's little like ripples in the fabric because of the wind resistance and stuff. And I was like, oh, this actually feels like a guy wearing a suit. And that's exactly what he should feel like. Whereas previously it was Tony Stark tech. So it was nanotech metal mimicking a bodysuit kind of thing. And so it felt a little, maybe that was on purpose, or maybe it was just because filmmaking said like, hey, you know, it's easier to CG this. But they said they like did a lot more with guys in suits on wires in this one. And I was like, I think it came through. Like it feels more like a real guy doing real things. And I just love that. I thought it fit the movie so much better to, again, ground the guy. Like to your point, he struggled with being lonely. The biggest challenge that Peter had in this movie was being lonely. Boy, can't we relate to that? you know?
See, it's funny. Like the more and more we talk about it, like the more I get into it, because it's like, it's let's face it, it's a superhero movie, okay? But for a superhero movie, I mean, it's pretty deep. You know, there's some really good stuff going on, and I really hope that this is the kind of stuff that we're going to get going forward. Because I mean, this is like such a throwback, you know, to, you know, phrase it in musical terms again. It's almost like when you do have a favorite band that has like 10, 15 records, and they've had a bunch of dogs in a row, and all of a sudden you get that one record that comes out that's like slamming, and it's like it reminds you of like 15 years ago when everything was good. You're like, holy shit, like that's like the best feeling, because it's something you never thought you'd see again or hear again, I should say that. But that's what this is kind of like. It's like I was going to go see Avengers Doomsday, because how can you not?
Right.
You know, I mean, if nothing else, you got to see Dr. Doom. I got to see the whole, you know, Robert Downey Jr. thing and what they do there. But I was not excited. I was like, I'm not going to really know what's going on, depending on, you know, how much more comes out between now and then, because I haven't seen a lot of this stuff. I don't care to see a lot of this stuff. And now I'm like, well, I better go watch this stuff, because this movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, gives me hope that Doomsday is going to be kick-ass. And I hope it's got, and I hope it's a sign that they've like I said, the course correction, because it was so off the rails for a minute and so disjointed and all over the place. Like it didn't work. It just didn't work. And this
we
totally
talked about
works.
this with Star Wars. Yeah. I really hope that, you know, when something gets too popular, the people in charge just assume it's going to continue to print money forever. And sometimes it takes a little bit of an ego check to make people refocus and hone in on those things that like made it so popular in the first place. And I really hope, like you said, that this is a return to form where we can actually count on the fact that not only did it bring in old characters that we've seen before, and so it's easy to get people interested in, oh my God, Hulk. We like Hulk. I remember Hulk. Hulk was in the good movies. And oh my God, Punisher. We like Netflix Daredevil, and Punisher was in that. We like him too. We'll go see that. And it's Spider-Man, and who doesn't love Spider-Man? So of course we're going to go show up for it. But it was a new director.
Yeah.
And it was a new Jean Grey. So you've got some new and some old under new direction. So it shows that they don't have to do a complete reset reboot to make good movies again. They can just, to your point about DC, steer the ship in the right direction after going off course rather than wiping the slate clean and starting fresh.
Yeah.
So it still rewards those who've stuck with them and seen all the stuff. And it also gives people a chance to come in now and maybe discover those old movies from having seen this one and been like, oh, I really like the Punisher. What else has he been in? Oh, look at that. He's got 2 seasons of a show. He was in the Daredevil series, and now there's a Marvel one-shot too. Cool.
Oh, I forgot about the one shot. Is it? That's like what, like 45, 50 minutes long. It's like called One Last Kill.
Yeah, it's just him murdering anything with a pulse. So you'll love it.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
It's called One Last Kill. There's a lot more than one, let me tell you.
Good. Steph wasn't really familiar with the character outside of like his name. And I told her in the car, I was like, dude, I love the character because first of all, that's like the most badass superhero name ever. Like there's no like gray area of what you're going to get. Like if the character's the Punisher, that's just amazing. It just goes out there and kicks ass. Like those two Punisher reboot movies were actually pretty good. Warzone was like, oh my God, was that violent? Like, and I was like, yes. So yeah, if that's all it is, then I'm in for it, dude. I love that character. That actor, I always forget his name, but the dude who played Shane on Walking Dead, dude, he does
John
such a good job.
Bernthal. Yeah.
Thank you, John Bernthal. Dude, he does such a good job in that character. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, to put a bow on everything, you know, as I said at the beginning of the shows, you know, to recap, this is my favorite Spider-Man movie of the 4, Tom Holland. Actually, favorite Spider-Man movie, period. And I think it's one of the best. I think it's one of the best Marvel movies they've done. Period. This
feels like, really good to be hyped about a Marvel movie again, doesn't it?
Yeah, and dude, and you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because it excites me because I was a huge, still am. Shouldn't say was. I'm a huge fan of the Infinity Saga. Like you know me, man. Like every movie, we were like, we got to go. Like opening night, let's go.
Yep.
And now I completely dropped off the map because the recent stuff's been just not good, and it bummed me out because I'm like, dude, I love these things, man. Like, God, I used to love this, and this reinvigorated my love for the whole thing. So I'm excited, even though I'm gonna have to go back and watch some stuff I'm probably not going to enjoy. Maybe I will. Who knows? You know. But in either case, I get to get back into Marvel again. And I think that's like the biggest compliment that I can give this movie is that it reinvigorated at least, you know, one fan, me. It reinvigorated my love for this franchise.
We were so hyped about Marvel back in, you know, the Endgame, the Infinity Saga. It was the first franchise that we talked about outside Star Wars on the show. The movies were so good and we were so hyped. We're like, I know we're a Star Wars show, but can we talk about this Marvel movie?
Yeah.
I think it was Captain America, probably, if I had to guess.
It might have been. Dude, you know, that perfect movie. Amazing.
But yeah, Marvel is the one franchise that made us break the mold of being a Star Wars only podcast. So it's so nice to come back to it and be like, yeah, this is well worth talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me hope, and I might be hyperbolic about this, but seeing that Marvel could do it really gives me hope for Starfighter next year, that Star Wars maybe has gone through its own course correction, and this proves that you can take an established franchise, put it in different hands, and it doesn't change the formula. It just means that someone else can do it too.
Yes. And that quality's still in there, and depending on where this goes, like let's say like almost like Quantum Mania and WandaVision and Doctor Strange, all that stuff that is kind of like like if that becomes basically just like a blip, we'll use their term, and they kind of get back on track starting with this movie, and things start moving ahead in a good linear path that makes sense, you can follow and whatnot, even though you're going to have some multiverse stuff here and there. That's awesome. And like you said, it gives me hope that Star Wars will learn that lesson too, because they've kind of gotten, well, we're going to go do this era, now we're going to go do this era. There's all these kind of disparate storylines going on, which is fine. But let's start tying this shit back together into one. If they announced episode 10 and said, you know what, the Skywalker saga is not over, I'd be first in line. I'd be like, let's go, because I mean, you would have to think that they would have learned their lessons from the writing debacle that was the sequel trilogy. They would have a one story cut into 3. Like this would give me hope that Star Wars is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, they did the same thing where they took a scattershot approach and just tried to pump out as much shit as possible. And hopefully this is the template that says maybe you scale it back and make sure you've got a direction forward and you move it forward. Starfighter takes place after the sequel trilogy, so it's the furthest in the timeline we've gotten. And just, just move on. Don't spend any more time trying to fix or fill in the plot holes or make sense of the sequels. Just move forward. Stick. What's the old phrase? I think Ray Floyd said it. Dance. You got to dance with the girl you brung.
Yes.
Like,
very good.
What makes Star Wars good? Do more of that. You tried to experiment. It wasn't a success. Go back to basics. Spider-Man did it. Star Wars can do it too.
Yes. And by the way, since you ripped on me for being old, you just referenced a golfer that was like on the senior tour when I was like less than 10 years old. So I don't want to hear about the age shit anymore, man. Like that was, there you go.
I'm learned.
Yes. So yeah, dude, I totally agree. My final thoughts, absolutely fantastic movie. If you're on the fence about seeing it, get off the fence and go to the side of the fence that has the ticket window to go buy tickets. See it in 3D because the 3D is amazing. If you've got D-Box, do that too. I saw it in D-Box 3D, as I said. Just an absolutely fucking kick-ass movie. Cannot recommend it enough. It's amazing from the action standpoint. It's even better from the emotional standpoint. It's just it's such a well done movie, such a well written film. So definitely go see it. Love it. So what are your final thoughts on this one?
Well, to answer the question posed by our own show's subject, I will say yes, best yet, for all those same reasons. It's we've already seen action. It's about time we cared about the emotions behind the characters again, and this one pulls it all together and gives it a path forward. So it's not just a rehash. It's not just a nostalgia trip. So I love it on both aspects.
Yep. Very well said, man. So that's going to do it for another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Got to thank everybody for tuning in. Got our usual suspects in the chat. Obviously, Cale McLeish, John Phillips, Chastity Crawley. Weaver was here. Great to see him. So thanks, everybody, for jumping in and kind of guiding the conversation with us. We will be right back here at all these beautiful locations on Wednesday, August 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Guys, once again, if you are watching on either our YouTube channel or that of the Virtual Cantina Network, don't forget to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. As always, guys, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And again, guys, as I said, my recommendation, go check out that book. It's called The Future Is Now. It's about the making of 8 sci-fi classics that came out in the summer of 1982. Let's see if we can riff them off the top of our head. It was E.T., Conan the Barbarian, Mad Max,
The Thing.
The Thing, thank you, Blade Runner, E.T., Tron, and Poltergeist. So very, 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 very interesting book. I blew through that one. I couldn't wait to get to the end of that one. Well, actually, I could wait to get to the end, but you know what I mean. I couldn't wait to keep listening.
Yeah.
So, couldn't wait for the damn thing to be over. But yeah, so check that out. You get a free credit. And you can delete the account after you get the credit if you just want to listen to that one book. So check that out. And once again, guys, if you are looking for some awesome Virtual Cantina Network swag, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. And if you are looking for some kick-ass customizable Nerf Herder console swag, which you should be, it is shop.nerfherderconsole.com. So until next time, which again is going to be Wednesday, August 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I am your host, JT. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
And guys, we will catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.